simplify 5x minus 10 over x squared minus 5x minus 50 divided by the fraction 5x plus 10 over 8x squared plus 40x, and we also have to find the domain of this expression. So first off, we have to reciprocate this. Because we're dividing by a fraction, we multiply by its reciprocal. So we just flip numerator and denominator, and we change it to multiplication. And now we can factor all these numerators and denominators and then cancel and simplify. So first off, 5x minus 10, we can factor out a common factor of 5. So it becomes 5 times x minus 2. Because 5x divided by 5 is x, and negative 10 divided by 5 is negative 2. In the denominator, this trinomial can be factored into x minus 10 and x plus 5. Over here on this numerator, we can see these two terms have a common factor of 8x. So we're going to factor that out. 8x squared divided by 8x is just x, and 40x divided by 8x is just 5. And now in this denominator, similar to this one, except we have a negative sign, we can factor out a 5. Instead of having x minus 2, we're going to have x plus 2. And so now we can start canceling. We see we have x plus 5 and x plus 5, one the numerator and denominator, so we can cancel them out. And we also have 5 divided by 5 here, and so we can cancel those out. And what we're left with is x minus 2 over x minus 10 times 8x over x plus 2. And so now we can't simplify anymore. So what we're going to do is multiply across the numerator and the denominator like this. And typically it's written 8x as a coefficient like this because we don't need brackets around the 8x. I just showed you how we're multiplying it like this. We're multiplying x minus 2 times 8x. And so this will be your final answer. As for the domain of this expression, the only restrictions on the domain would be if any of these denominators would be equal to 0. And so here, the first one, x squared minus 5x minus 50, if we set that equal to 0 and solve for x, see what values of x would make it 0, we can factor it just like we did over here, x minus 10 times x plus 5. And if we have the product of two terms equal to 0, that means either one of them must be 0, so x minus 10 equals 0, so x equals 10, or x plus 5 equals 0, so x equals negative 5. Next, we move on to the next one, which is 8x squared plus 40x. So if we set that equal to 0, we can factor it. It's just like we did over here. Factor out an 8x, so it's 8x times x plus 5 equals 0. We have, again, the product of two terms is equal to 0. That means one of them must be equal to 0. And so 8x equals 0, that means x equals 0. Or x plus 5 equals 0, that means x equals negative 5. And finally, you might think those are the only two denominators, but also we have to take into account this 5x plus 10, because it becomes a denominator right here. And so if we, because if this expression was equal to 0 at the top, then it'd be 0 over something, which is 0. And so we'd be dividing by 0. And so obviously this can't be equal to 0. And so we set that equal to 0, subtract 10 from both sides, and divide by 5. We get x is equal to negative 2. So as our final answer here, we say that we take the summation of all these x values that it cannot be, is not in our domain. We say x cannot be negative 5, negative 2, 0, or 10.